bothering me is that being a celebrity sometimes comes with, like, everybody wants to be successful in a celebrity and stuff like that, but it comes with, you know, bullshit sometimes, and, you know, that's the only thing that I hate about it.
Watching him, you know, he's with my man Charlie Mack, so Charlie was with me every step of the way. First out the limo, so Charlie has been with me, you know, 30 years coming up in the business. So, you know, he's surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love, and all he has to do is add discipline, and he's gonna be all right.
Will and Jada Smith are facing serious allegations as 2026 begins, and the situation looks worse than most people expected. Rumors have surfaced claiming that the couple mistreated several young men who came to them seeking guidance and support. One of the most prominent voices speaking out is Bryshere Gray, who says his experience under Will's mentorship was far from what it appeared. According to Bryshere, instead of receiving help and encouragement, he was manipulated in ways that changed the course of his life completely. He claims that he went from being a promising young actor with a bright future in Hollywood to being exploited by other men on camera, all under the direction of people he trusted. Bryshere alleges that Will not only used him for personal gain but also groomed him to be taken advantage of by others, leaving him abandoned once they were done. Over time, he says he developed emotional feelings toward Will, believing that someone would protect him and stand by him. Those years, however, ended with betrayal. Once Bryshere tried to assert his independence and make decisions for himself, he claims that Will and Jada effectively blocked him from opportunities in the entertainment industry, leaving him isolated and blacklisted to the point where no one would work with him. Now Bryshere feels he has nothing left to lose. He believes it is time to speak up and reveal what really happened, no matter the consequences. According to him, the silence he maintained for years was forced by fear, but the alleged abuse, manipulation, and betrayal pushed him to the point where staying quiet is no longer an option. His story has shocked many and raised questions about power, trust, and accountability in Hollywood.
Besties, this till today is still one of the scariest transformations I've ever seen in my life. To go from this fine, young, rich, millions of followers, you know what I'm saying? You could start any business you want, you could do whatever you want, you are known around the world, into this in a matter of years? Baby, this ain't just drugs.
Ever since Empire ended, Bryshere Gray's career has been full of ups and downs and serious controversies. Hollywood once celebrated him, praising his talent as both a rapper and an actor. Big names, including Will Smith, even claimed they were mentoring him and helping him reach the A-list. But things didn't go as planned. At some point, Bryshere started facing problems in the industry. He claims he was blackballed, meaning doors that were once open suddenly closed. The young actor who once seemed destined for stardom slowly ended up focusing on other platforms like OnlyFans, far from the Hollywood spotlight he once had. For years, his story faded from public conversation, and many had forgotten about him, until new allegations about Will and Jada Smith's behavior toward young men seeking guidance resurfaced. Bryshere is reportedly considering filing a $50 million lawsuit against Will. These claims emerged alongside other disturbing reports, including accusations from Brian Scott Joseph, a former violinist for Will. Brian says that during Will's 2025 tour, their relationship grew strangely personal and uncomfortable. He alleges that Will acted inappropriately, creating situations that made Brian feel unsafe. At one point, Brian's hotel bag went missing, and later, his room was entered without permission. Items were left behind, including medication not belonging to Brian and a note suggesting he would be alone with someone soon, which terrified him. When he reported the incident, he claims Will's team dismissed him and eventually fired him, prompting Brian to file a lawsuit. According to these reports, both Bryshere and Brian feel that they were groomed for relationships that went far beyond mentorship. The growing allegations suggest a troubling pattern, raising questions about accountability, trust, and safety in Hollywood. Bryshere, who has long been silenced, now seems ready to speak out, seeking justice for what he says he endured.
About this is because getting fired or getting blamed or shamed or threatened or anything like that simply for reporting sexual misconduct or safety threats at work is not okay. And I know that there's a lot of other people out there who have been afraid to speak up, and I understand. And if that's you, I see you. And that's pretty much it.
Proving harassment in the lawsuit may be hard, but Bryshere Gray has shared clear evidence of Will's alleged misconduct. Will's former friend and assistant claims Bryshere was manipulated under the pretense of mentorship. Instead of just acting opportunities, he was pressured into attending adult parties, told it was paying his dues to succeed.
Bryshere Gray. So long story short, when I'm in Chicago, this guy's acting erratic. Like, I mean, crazy. He's getting stopped by the cops. There's male prostitutes involved. There's mental illness involved. There's drug use involved. And I'm really trying to see what happened to this guy. And one day he said, you know what happened. You know that Will R-worded me, or however y'all kind of say it on YouTube. You know that Diddy sexually assaulted me. And you know Charlie Mack made me suck his private part. Right? And I'm like, whoa. This was a full admittance. And he's going, and I'm like, I didn't know anything. He's in the corner, balled up, snot, so much sweating and pain that blood is coming from his nose, right? And this is me and him in a conversation. And he was like, please don't tell him, please don't tell him, right? Will admitted to me that he had sex with Bryshere Gray, but it was consensual, right? So I'm like, okay, so now it's starting to make sense, because I would have never believed that the way this guy's acting, something had to happen. So now, Will told me, and this is going to be in paperwork and everything, right? So when Will told me that he did have sexual intercourse with Bryshere, he said Bryshere did ask him to stop. Will said he finished, completed the act, then stopped. Right then and there, when a person says stop, that means stop. Period. So I do believe that Will Smith sexually assaulted Bryshere Gray. Charlie Mack and Will gets a lawyer for Bryshere, and they try to get me under NDA. I tell Will, I'm not signing, I don't even have an NDA with you. How am I getting an NDA with him? You understand what I'm saying? So I hire a lawyer, right? Mm-hmm. When I hire the lawyer, he comes back and say, listen, this is the best I can do. He said, I'm going to have y'all do a mutual NDA, meaning that Bryshere can't tell people that you know that Will and Diddy sexually assaulted him. And I want to say the R word, but I know we're on YouTube. Then you can't say nothing about him. So I said, okay, well, as long as he stopped telling people that I know what Will and Diddy did to him. You understand what I'm saying? Period. That was the problem. So there's legal paperwork, and it's all going to be, and you got to follow this case. All that's coming out in court.
Bryshere Gray reportedly reached a breaking point after enduring years of pressure and manipulation. Feeling trapped and unable to continue following the demands placed on him, he began to push back and act out. Instead of offering support or guidance, Will allegedly saw Bryshere's reactions as a threat to his own image and reputation. Fearing that Bryshere's behavior might harm his carefully crafted public brand, Will reportedly chose to cut ties and distance himself. This left Bryshere feeling abandoned and betrayed after trusting someone who had promised mentorship, guidance, and protection throughout his early career.
Now, he's a gay porn star. Are you happy now, Andy? For a book that didn't sell? I hope that new husband of yours leaves you. And maybe it's time you tell your son why his father is really in jail, his biological father, for all of his life, and what you had to do with it.
Ooh. So, but normally I have to go to Will's house if there's a meeting. So Will comes to my apartment allegedly, and Charlie Mack, the rat, the informant, come to my apartment. So they was like, hey, B, look, man, we got this new guy. Will is mentoring. His name is Bryshere Gray. Everybody call him Yaz. He's about to get cast on this major show. I'm like, okay, what would you want? I'm thinking they coming to get product. Bryshere was supposed to allegedly star in the reboot of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So I said, look, Will, I said, what do you want me to do? He said, I want you to go to Chicago and hold this guy down. I remember like it was yesterday, I turned the computer around. I said, Will, that's what's in my bank account right now, right? Will started laughing. Right? And said, I'm gonna make sure you get double that over the course of time. That's my guarantee. So I'm like, sheesh. I said, okay. So he said, just make sure.
Initially, many might have dismissed Bryshere Gray's story as an attempt to get attention or money. However, his shocking claims have started gaining serious credibility thanks to a surprising source. Brother Below, a close friend of Will Smith for over 40 years. Below has stepped forward, saying that he personally witnessed some of the situations Bryshere described. According to him, he knows for a fact that what Bryshere experienced was real and that Will, along with Diddy, was involved in actions that were clearly harmful and manipulative. This revelation adds weight to Bryshere's accusations and makes it harder for people to simply ignore or write off his story. With someone this close to Will confirming parts of the account, the narrative has shifted from being seen as speculation to something that demands attention, raising serious questions about behavior, power, and accountability in the entertainment industry.
I'm in Chicago. This guy's acting erratic. Like, I mean, crazy. He's getting stopped by the cops. There's male prostitutes involved. There's mental illness involved. There's drug use involved. And I'm really trying to see what happened to this guy. And one day he said, you know what happened. You know that Will R-worded me, or however y'all kind of say it on YouTube. You know that Diddy sexually assaulted me. And you know Charlie Mack made me suck his private part, right? And I'm like, whoa, this was a full admittance.
When Bryshere Gray first started working in the industry, he was managed by Charlie Mack, a longtime friend of Will Smith. Charlie quickly introduced Bryshere to Will, who took a strong interest in him and even asked Below, another close associate, to help guide Bryshere while he worked on Empire. In the beginning, everything seemed normal, and Bryshere appeared to be just another young actor trying to make a name for himself in Hollywood. But soon things took a strange turn. Bryshere began acting strangely, becoming restless and unpredictable. He shifted from focusing on his career to partying constantly, using drugs, and getting involved with prostitutes. At first, Below didn't understand what was happening. No one could figure out why Bryshere was behaving this way, and nothing they tried seemed to help him stop. Then one day, Below heard something he was never supposed to know. It was shocking and changed the way he saw everything that had been happening. From that moment on, it became clear that Bryshere's actions were not just random mistakes or rebellious behavior. They were tied to deeper, more troubling influences around him.
To put it, this dude is going crazy, right? He's out there allegedly with male prostitutes. He's pissing in the trailer. He's acting psychotic, right?
The same thing he's doing now.
Beyond that. But this is why a show is going on. I pulled him to the side. I said, listen, I'm here to help you and so forth and so on. So he was like, all right, I feel that. He said, everybody on the set know you. Everybody seem like they love you. Okay. I want to love you because everybody else loves you. I said, if that's what you want to do, then do it. But he kept acting up. And then one day, I said, what the F is wrong with you? And he was like, you know. He said, you know Will raped me. You know Diddy made me suck his penis. You know what's going on. You know Charlie made me suck. And I said, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. So he crying, no blood is coming from his nose. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I'm like, yo, listen. So I grabbed my hug. I said, listen, I don't know. I didn't know what happened. Nothing. I was just asked to come.
Is this true?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna let you about to see if it's true.
As Below tried to guide Bryshere back on track, Bryshere suddenly revealed that Will and Diddy had done something to him. At first, he thought Below was covering for them. After seeing Below's reaction, he admitted they gave him money and promises. But since then, he hasn't been the same. Something inside him changed forever.
Said Will, and once again, they was willing to give me the money, but what they wanted me to do, I wasn't going to do that for the money. And I knew that alleged things have happened with younger kids. I knew that there were some egregious acts from on a sexual nature done to people. That money, I called it the devil money. If I would have took that money, right, that money would have done me no good. You understand what I'm saying? That money could have been my downfall. That's why I didn't take that money. People are like, oh, he trying to get money. Okay, well, if I'm trying to get money, why didn't I take that money?
What really stands out in all of this is how Bryshere Gray's claims against Will Smith were supported by someone close to the situation. Bryshere alone could have been dismissed as trying to get attention or money, but having someone back him up with details and evidence changes the story completely. It adds a layer of credibility that is hard to ignore and shows just how much Bryshere had to endure to try to succeed in Hollywood. He started with hope and ambition, only to face betrayal and manipulation from people he trusted, leaving him emotionally and professionally damaged. This confirmation fills in the missing pieces and gives a clearer picture of the challenges Bryshere faced. It's one thing to hear accusations, but it's another to have someone validate them and show the real consequences of trying to break into the industry. The whole situation raises serious questions about power, trust, and exploitation in Hollywood. What do you think about all of this? Do you believe Bryshere's story? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. Stay tuned for the next video.